On today's episode of Wicked High, we have the co-founder and president of the International Cannabis Women's Business Association. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you here. I also am really excited that we have three dope women in the cannabis industry on a couch together. So kudos to that.
Yes, definitely.
And getting more inclusive in that world. I would love to hear, and I would love you to tell the viewers about the Icbwa and kind of what you've done in the last couple years and what made you kind of start.
So I co-founded along with two of my co-founders, Denise Mejia and Susie Ortega, Icbwa, and it stands for International Cannabis Consulting Businesswomen's Association. The reason we wanted to develop it and we pursued to develop it is because I've been in the cannabis industry since 2014, and throughout that time, and when the CBD gold rush came, I really noticed that there was a big gap for businesswomen and women in the cannabis space. We got paid less, we had to work twice as hard, and we're running there's a lot of females behind the scenes, but they don't own the company. So I thought about it, and we joined forces to establish Icbwa. We got it established in the state of California as a certified nonprofit. So it's a very exciting adventure. We've had a lot of challenges throughout the way, but the overall reason why we developed it was to help other female business owners get a piece of that cake. There's a lot of money on the table right now in the cannabis space, and we want to ensure that other female business owners have the right tools and education to pursue that and get their return on investments, get their equity, and have a seat at the table. And it's been amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you tell us a little bit about the vision that you guys have and maybe some of the challenges that you've faced along the way?
Challenges, definitely.
We know there's many.
Has been just making sure that, since it's a nonprofit, is obviously the startup stuff, making sure that we're in compliance, putting in the applications, and that was a process. Mm-hmm. However, we've gotten great support. I feel so blessed because the overall community has really stepped up and supported us. Obviously COVID kind of pushed us back from having live events, but throughout that time, we established a really strong advisory board and board of directors throughout the country. And that's what we really worked on, that branding ourselves correctly, making sure we got the right partnerships, and that I'm really looking forward because now we're expanding internationally. So it's not just USA. We're getting members that are in Mexico, Canada, all over the world. So it's been very rewarding.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, and I would love for you to tell our listeners how long it's been since you've started this, because when you speak to it and if you go on the website, it looks like you guys have been around for a decade. We
established Icbwa in 2020. So, we really just went all in.
Right.
We put up our own money to start it because that's how much we believe in ourselves, and we believed in long term. It's not about the money for me, but I'm starting to see some of our members that I'm consulting in different aspects of their business and career really flourishing and thriving, and that makes me super happy. Starting to also see and get more inquiries from parents and people that have post-traumatic stress disorder, veterans that are interested in CBD. So getting to work on that still makes me extremely happy. But with Icbwa, I love how we branded ourselves. We're about our business. We're businesswomen. Mm-hmm. I want to change the stigma of we're not just cute potheads sitting on the couch. Like, we're a really powerful businesswoman.
Yeah.
And we're, getting that type of respect from state officials who are seeing the work we're doing and, supporting us. We're trying to go be the ones that educate to make like stuff in the laws and everything, establish stuff better for ourselves. So we're being very strategic, and we're going really big in California with trying to get them to listen to us and to make sure we get those grants and funding for the right woman.
It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. There is such a stigma, not only about in cannabis culture, about being just stoners who kind of don't really know what they're doing and throwing things together. And then on top of it, we also have the extra challenge of being a woman in a very male-dominated industry. Mm-hmm. So kudos to you for doing what you're doing and bringing us all together. We actually just had a Women's in Cannabis event, and Sophie came in LA at Green Street. Thank you again to Green Street for all you've done for us lately. How exactly can women who are involved in cannabis get involved with the Icbwa?
It's simple. You can look us up on our website, icbwa/ca.org, and you can email us. We'll get the email directly. You could follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, or you could reach out to me directly at Sophia at icbwa/ca.org, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or get on a business call with you.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. And I heard you say you're consulting with some people. So what exactly does that look like, I guess? If you did get more involved, what does the community look like? You said in-person events is kind of how it was before COVID, mm-hmm. but yeah, how are you guys? We're
actually working right now with a few other organizations, partnering up, and we're doing like a media partnership where we're giving our members all their events. However, right now we're working on our own in-person event for this year. We're gonna have one in LA and San Diego, and we'll be announcing it on our platform soon.
Amazing.
And obviously we're trying to get with you guys a little bit more. But,
yeah, for sure. I was just gonna actually ask you that. So you came to the event that we hosted the other night at Green Street, and you're clearly gonna be doing some more events yourself mm-hmm. for women. Can you speak a little bit on why these women-centric spaces are so important for the cannabis industry?
Absolutely, because that gives us a very good personal setting to really have these conversations with the right people, mm-hmm. and get information on other brands, on other companies, network. Social media is good, but being in front of someone, seeing their smile, really, getting to sit down and talk to them, look them in their eyes, makes a huge impact.
That human connection.
Yeah, it does. And, having that one-on-one time, could really set the tone. But every time I go to these events, I leave with a few business cards where I give mine out, and it's been really, really effective for me personally to meet the right people. And there's a lot of events, but I go to a lot, I get invited to a lot, and the ones that stand out, and you could see the women that really believe in this and they're doing it for the right reasons. I love that, and it makes me feel very supported and loved, and I need that mm-hmm. sometimes too. So for me as a founder, it's kind of, we work so hard. Those are the events where we get to kind of let loose and just have fun, right. And they feel very rewarding to me.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a space where you really don't have to worry about the repercussions of what you say, even if it's stupid. Or if you've been in an uncomfortable situation, which a lot of us have in the workplace, but we won't get too deep into all of that. I'll probably cut a little bit of that out. I wanted to also ask you, but now I lost my train of thought, about some of the work you're doing with the government, because obviously that is a huge piece of the puzzle. We were just talking to another guest about that recently, and just having that seat at the table. I know one of your board members, Denise, who I met the other day, mentioned she's working a lot in that space. So
she's great.
I think the education piece is really important, and of course our legislation needs to understand this industry, the plant, and the people in it more. So how exactly are you guys kind of battling that? It sounds like it's nationwide. Do you have people in DC? And I know Rebecca's Mexico. So yeah, love to hear about that.
So what is great for me with Icbwa, having Denise as a business partner and the other co-founder, was she has a lot of experience dealing with the government. She's a former state delegate. So she is vital to getting us the right connections at the right, to really, give us the opportunities to speak on this to them. We also have Angie, who works for Assembly member as well, who, it's very important because it's not easy to get that type of access sometimes. So having that type of support is important for us, and it's been great, but we want to take it a little bit higher. We would like to, go to talk to Washington or talk to state officials on a higher level, but right now we're focusing on California and LA.
Right. It's exciting.
And we're getting a lot of inquiries from Colombia and Mexico, like those officials, because they're behind us in USA, but they are starting to tap into it.
Right.
There's quite a bit of crossover now,
yeah,
which is so interesting to see.
It's exciting for us because they have a very high interest in what we're doing because we're Latinas, and we could show them the way here, so we're excited about that as well.
Sounds like you have some really, really cool things coming in the pipeline. So
yeah.
Very exciting to see what you're going to do. I think
this is going to be the best year for us. So far, so good.
2022 has got to be a good year, right? We deserve it at this point.
Last year was actually my best year in my career.
Good for
my
you.
Professional career.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so this year I'm really looking forward to it.
Amazing. Well, we're so grateful to have met you. And actually, do you guys want to talk and touch on how you met?
Yes. So I am a little bit of a creep on social media platforms.
Only LinkedIn.
And specifically on LinkedIn. So when I find boss-ass women that I want to meet, I will usually slide into their LinkedIn messages. I feel like it's a little less weird than sliding into their DMs. But positions me a little bit better. But that is how I hooked the two of you. So thank you for replying to my message.
I thought it was cute.
It's very cute.
Because it's kind of rare for me to meet other girls in that area. And at the time, I had a place in South Park, and she just happened to be in that area too. So when I got to meet her for our meeting, it was in person and it wasn't over the phone or on Zoom, and I think that's why we really hit it off too. And I got to have her for a few minutes just to show her who I really am. This is really me. This is how I live my life.
Yes.
And I think that, I really just liked her energy, and I was like, this is someone that I see huge potential in what she's working on too.
Thank you.
So that's how we met.
That's so sweet. And same for you. I loved your energy immediately. You had just gotten back too from LA, and you were just so present. And like you were saying too, we did talk business, but we were able to kind of connect a little bit more than that. And that's again why these in-person events are so important. So you can actually get to know people. And we talk about this with a lot of guests. It's really easy to weed out the people that maybe don't know what they're doing or don't take it that seriously. So the universe brought us together. So yeah, I'm grateful.
I really feel that in my journey, manifesting was huge and still is in my businesses. Don't get discouraged. The right people will come along, and also when you get those feelings to reach out to someone, do it. Because that's how you get their attention. That's how you make big moves.
Well, I'm grateful that you guys connected, and now all three of us have connected. It's been really fun, so I'm excited to see what happens.
Should we tell the story about the first time all three of us connected in Vegas?
Sure.
So I had a mansion party, and
her mansion.
She was so darling because it was the week of MJ BizCon. Everyone was so busy, and I didn't think you guys were going to come, and you guys pulled up, and I was so happy.
Of course.
And we had an amazing time and festivities.
There's one thing about Julie and I, we will always pull up. We might not be there the whole time, but we will pull up. And then we'll pull up again and again.
So that was our second in-person meeting. And
truly.
That was a fun party. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I felt like it was icing on the cake.
Yeah,
it was. To end that year.
Yeah, it was such a fun night. And I remember I met Susie at BizCon too, and Rebecca at the Blunt Brunch event, so that was awesome. And I just love that, we're all coming together just naturally, right? I feel like that's how...
Yeah, you met all of them on your own,
right.
and...
We ended up sitting at the same table at the Blunt Brunch.
I was on a plane, and I get a text from Susie or Rebecca, and they're like, with you, and I'm like...
I was so mad.
It's so funny how that happens in Cannabis. It's pretty consistent.
But I was very happy, and I was like, of course.
Yeah, I know, right? We just gravitate towards each other.
Of course that happens.
Now we have people, like, trying to get into our parties and stuff.
And saying they know people.
We know the struggle.
What a beautiful day outside in San Diego.
It's incredible.
Also, shout out to San Diego again. It's we've recorded in LA. We're going to be recording all over the place, but the last interview and this interview, everyone's San Diego based and pretty boss in the Cannabis.
I'm feeling that a lot of San Diego business owners in this space are kind of stepping it up lately and making some big moves, and it makes me very happy because it's always LA I'm here. I'm born and raised in San Diego, and it's like it's such a small town, but there's so much potential. But this is home, and it's good to see people thriving here right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a great spot to live in. Also, shout out to Classics, another San Diego-based company where we're recording the episode now. They were kind enough to open their space to us. We're sitting here getting
I love it.
high and hanging out, having some great conversations. So shout out again to Classics.
This is what I'm used to.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
I also want to ask you, that's a good way to parlay into, how did you get into cannabis? What brought you towards this space? Were you always in it, or?
It's kind of I've always smoked flower. It helps me alleviate anxiety and insomnia. But in 2014, 17 was when I kind of pursued it more. In 2015, I worked for a year or two in a group home for the state of California, and my desk was next to where the kids would sit.
So a youth group home?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was for the worst of the worst kids that were abused or abandoned, and they lived there. And then on the other side of the space, there was a 5150 unit for kids that would try to hurt themselves, and they would put them in there. So it was a very different type of atmosphere, but I got really good training. I got training in trauma-informed care. I was in getting the reports from the therapists and counselors and psychiatrists, reading them, so I was getting familiar with that. There was one day where I was working in the 5150 unit, and this mom was asking the doctor about CBD, and her son was hurting himself, and she was crying to him, and she was asking him, can you please tell me if I've heard about CBD oil? Mm-hmm. And I had some in my purse. At the time, I was actually working with a company that had CBD skincare, CBD tinctures, and helping them develop it. So I had it on me.
Right.
And I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. And I was like, I wanted so bad to hug her and be like, hey, I have this. I could tell you,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't. And it was one of those moments where I was like, what am I doing here?
Right.
It was one of those moments where I was like, no, you got to go pursue this, because later on it's really going to help. Mm-hmm. I foresaw it popping off, and I was like, I can't be sitting here at this office. I need to face my fear, and I need to go do it.
Right.
So at the time, my friend who was a master grower, he developed a CBD skincare line. He got funded. He called me one day and was like, hey, I need you to come out to LA. I got an investor. And I ended up being able to quit that job and pursue the CBD skincare and run, start that. After that, I left that company after a couple years, but I gained a lot of knowledge, and I saw it change lives for some of the clients, and it really inspired me. And that woman that was in the doctor's office that day crying, that was what really made me think about, this is bigger than my fear or bigger than me. Like this, I need to talk about it.
And you'll never forget her or her child, I'm sure.
Yeah, I never really talked to her. I was just more kind of in the background, but I'm very, I remember that time. It was just not very pleasant, and now looking back, it's what happened, and,
an impactful moment.
after that, veterans started reaching out to me, and I started helping them, and seeing their progress, and it made me really happy. So I was like, okay.
Right, and I feel like you were saying it's bigger than you, and even being in a home like that, there's so many other things kids can get into, especially when it comes to pain or just not having guidance, right? So having the opportunity to really educate people on how this can benefit them and maybe avoid some.
And I take tinctures every day. I love full spectrum CBD tinctures. As far as business, it's been a game changer for me.
Right.
It keeps me focused. It gives me that extra. I feel like
Helps motivate you?
It does. I have a different lifestyle. I own 2 companies. I'm always on the go. So I take it daily myself just to keep me focused.
Yeah.
Because I want to be laser focused sometimes, and I feel like when I take it, I'm on it. I'm on point.
Which a lot of people may not think is possible when you consume cannabis. I feel like everyone has that assumption that you just smoke and you're lazy and you can't get anything done, and you benefit from it in the complete opposite way, which is super interesting.
Yeah, it makes me more creative.
Yeah. Same.
Especially working on projects and stuff. I love putting on my music and just getting in my zone, and it's very important too to have a really good atmosphere when you're working.
Yeah. One of our favorite questions to ask our guests is, what is your favorite part of cannabis culture?
In what aspect though?
Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, the culture of cannabis, all of everything that it entails. What would be your favorite aspect?
I love the sisterhood. I love the women that I get to meet, and the connections we have, and I love that I'm a foodie, so
Stimulate a little hunger.
I like some good indica. But overall, I just love the way it brings me joy and makes me feel calm and confident.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like I told you, the sisterhood, and I love when there's one of my friends that doesn't smoke, and they're like, hey, I want to smoke with you, and
It's the best.
yeah, having those moments, and I have really good, I call it tea time.
I love that.
That's my code, with me and my friends.
I love it.
We'll say it's have tea time together, or if I'll tell you, I'm having tea time. It's a big part of my life and my personal life, and I'm happy that I'm able to talk about it in public now.
Yeah,
right.
Because there was a long time when I first started where I didn't feel comfortable. I was a little scared. But once I told my grandma, and I came out the cannabis closet and she approved of it, I was like, I'm going to tell the whole world now.
Yeah.
So I think getting that feeling of respect when I walk in the room in meetings, when I know I can be in any room and talk to any business person, and a lot of them won't know what I know with cannabis, and they're fascinated that a woman knows more than them in that, and I love that feeling when I walk out and they know.
Yeah.
So
you let them know.
yeah, and I love really good flower. I know the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is your preferred method of consuming?
Just joints.
Joints. Do you like to roll your own, or
I
do you
like
prefer
gummies
pre-rolls?
too, but I'm not a big edible fan. Those really make me sleepy, and I'll eat everything. But I like Delta 8 sometimes if I can't, because those really put me out.
Really?
Capsules, yeah. But I'll eat everything. But honestly, in the morning and at night, I'll just have a indica joint, and that's what I like to do.
Nice. Do you prefer rolling yourself or pre-rolls?
Myself.
Okay.
Really?
A lot of people like the ritual of it.
Yeah,
Is that
I
what
love
it
that.
is for you?
It's just I liked a certain type of zigzag, and I like pre-rolls too, but sometimes some taste really fresh, and sometimes they're like, oh, this is good, but not what I'm used to,
Yeah.
and so I don't buy pre-rolls, but if I go to see someone, and I'll smoke it.
Yeah.
But I like my own stuff my own way.
On this segment of You're Not Going to Believe This, we are going to talk about the fact that Sophie is starting an Accelerator program with the Icbwa, and that she ends every night with a cup of hot cocoa and a donut. Two of my favorite things.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to announce that this year we are in the process of pursuing to start developing our own accelerator program, and it's going to be discussing like laws, business development, marketing, rebranding, and we're really looking forward to launching that soon. So that's my big project I'm working on.
So exciting.
And I do have a little. I am a lover of donuts and after at night hot cocoa. So I feel like it's important to reward yourself. Whether it's ice cream or just having that time at the end of the day, and that's what makes me happy. So.
Where are your favorite donuts?
Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
And I gained like 10 pounds. And for real, I used to be so skinny for a long time.
You look great.
And I was like, shout out to Krispy Kreme for being open because I love my little curves now.
Right?
So, yeah, I still go every day. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but...
Might have.
I love having a good joint and going to Krispy Kreme.
Oh, that's amazing.
You can find our website at www.wickedhigh.com. High has 3 I's.
And you could find us at International Cannabis Consulting Businesswomen's Association. And our website is icbwa/ca.org.
All right, time for my favorite part of the show. J's with J.
And
where,
today,
yeah.
we're going to be smoking a Classics rosin-infused pre-roll. So shout out to Classics. We're actually filming our episode here.
Shout out to Classics. Look at this
Look at
branding.
this packaging.
Right?
Isn't it
This
amazing?
packaging is adorable. And I love the ambience here.
Right? The art is
The
so
best.
cool.
Yeah, for everyone listening, hop on Instagram and go to Classics Official. Classics is spelled CLSICS. They have some really dope artwork. I'm pretty sure that this is a local artist from Oceanside, California. So that has done
He's
all
their
their packaging.
in-house.
And there's murals all over these walls. It's really, really dope. Julie and I have been lucky enough to take a couple tours here, smoke a bunch of their product, and we are about to light up a rosin-infused pre-roll.
Awesome.
What is the flavor?
Oh,
There you go.
good call.
It says on the back.
We are about to smoke papaya.
Ooh, yum.
Rosin is papaya and the flower is Dole Whip.
Yum. Oh, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, these are good. We've had these before. I'm really excited to smoke this one. But I'm always super impressed with what Classics makes. They do everything in-house.
Wow.
Make all of their own rosin. We've
Oh my gosh, it
been
smells
lucky enough
so
to take
good.
a tour when they're actually
Really?
operational. We're recording on a Saturday. They were kind enough to open their space for us to record. But when things are fully functional during the week, it's a really, really dope operation.
As soon as I walked in, I saw the sign right there that said, "Today just got better." And
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, definitely for those of you just listening, we will have all of our episodes up on YouTube. So if you want any visuals, check us out on YouTube.
All right.
J's with J is taking me out today.
Sophie, we want to hear about the first time you got high.
I was about 14 years old, and that was the first time I had my first joint. And since then, it's been a great adventure.
Can you give us like an idea of the placement? Like, were you alone? Were you with friends? Were you with an older sibling?
I was
How did
with
you
friends.
end up smoking?
I was with some friends. Yeah.
Do you remember how you consumed
A joint.
a joint?
Mhm.
Do you feel like you got high the first time?
It might have been a bong or a joint, but back then when I was younger, I would smoke out of bongs too. But when I got older, I just like joints.
Just went to the
I
paper.
did dabs here and there too, but like we were discussing earlier, like that kind of hits stronger.
It's different.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure, it's different.
Oh my God, that's amazing. And where did you get the weed from? Because we also always love this story.
I think
Do you
back then
remember?
just like neighborhood friends, back then.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No one ever knows where they got it the first time. We all just smoke it blindly, like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
I remember,
I don't
like-
even remember where.
Right? Like,
I remember the kid that had it, like, specifically, but, like, where he got it from.
Right, now,
Good
how
God,
would you know?
Who knows?
Yeah, I just remember like I
who
fell
knows
in
what
love
we're
with it
smoking.
instantly, and
That's what I mean. It could have been like from
Yeah.
our parents' backyard. Like we did. I mean, we would have probably known, but also not.
and
first.
I remember as well. There was one time when I got caught by my
Oh yes.
and-
Tell the story.
at the beach. Me and my friends got caught, and my mom was like, if you're gonna do that, do it in the backyard. Don't go out and don't feel like you have to run away,
Sneak
hide
around.
because
Yeah.
you could get in trouble. She had
Right.
to talk with me. I was like 17 and yeah, so that kind of made me okay. Well, just go in the backyard. Like I don't, be more discreet
Yeah.
about it. But it was kind of comforting that I didn't have to feel like I would get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very cautious still.
So did your mom consume?
No. Mm-mm.
But she was okay with it, kind of.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
she just told me be discreet. Be smart.
Right.
Do it at home. I would feel safer if my daughter was at home doing it versus going to the beach where
Right. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and it sounds
Yeah.
like your mom and your grandmother were really supportive. Because you were telling
Yes.
us earlier that as soon as your grandmother was accepting of your life with cannabis,
Man,
you
my
were
grandma's
this
like-
is it, hit the ground running.
she's like my VIP. I lived with her for a few years when I was a little girl, and she was just very loving to me and nurturing and supportive. And throughout my career, whenever I get an award or wherever it's something very important, she's right there next to me, and she
I love
gets
that.
dressed up and she shows up for me. And now that I'm older and when I come out in magazines or when I get awards, I bring her and I show her and I tell her, I thank her and I tell her, this is she has such a huge impact and influence on me. And I feel now that I'm older that she helped mold me to be a great woman.
That's beautiful.
So shout out to my Nana Jenny.
Oh, shout out Nana Jenny! So cute.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you.
Yes,
You're
thank
a
you for
gem.
spending your Saturday with us.
Yeah, this was
Anytime.
This was so fun.
I had
And
so much fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great time. Many more women's events to come. Many more
Yes.
cannabis events to come, and we'll definitely be sitting down on our couch again at some point.
Yes,
Yeah.
please let us know because we're sharing all your events on our newsletters and socials, and I know our members are
Oh,
really
thank
excited
you.
about that. So we'll definitely be there. We'll be supporting you guys as well.
Thank
So
you.
excited.
Yes.
Yay. All right,
Dope
folks.
things to come. Stay tuned.
Wicked, wicked, wicked.